Mohit writes in and says, do you make decisions on what person you'll debate or have a conversation with on Her Take? I like good faith discussion and debate with Lindy Lee, Amy Dangerfield, etc., but not with Dinesh D'Souza or Bianca or Ann Coulter. So Dinesh D'Souza and Bianca is her name. They were on the show today. And I quit like midstream. I just couldn't take it anymore. I can have a debate with people who are engaging in good faith, but people who are being dishonest on purpose, who are lying, you can't have a debate with them, right? So if I know that a person...
Which, by the way, describes all the members of the panel on the show from day one. People that aren't good faith and that lie. That was always the makeup of the Her Take panel. Everyone on that show. Who was the good faith, honest people you were debating with? It wasn't Lindy Lee, Amy Dangerfield, Jillian Michaels, Ann Coulter. Like, everyone that's ever been on the show fits that definition. What the fuck? You just realized that because of the waning view count, because of the total lack of interest that the show was generating, because it wasn't actually advancing your career in any way. In fact, it was just embarrassing you. Because of that, now you're like, oh, I can't engage in bad faith debates with, oh wait, I just spent the last year doing that, not only on Her Take, but also on Glenn Beck's show and on Tucker Carlson's show. And need I go on? You've seen it
Ben
all here.
Shapiro's show.
Ben Shapiro's show, literally a million fucking shows. You know what I'm saying? That's always been the case. All of the debates that have ever been had on Her Take have been in bad faith with a liar or a grifter.
Yeah, I mean, she took a job from Patrick Bet David, a man who built his entire reputation scamming people, bro. I don't want you to talk about how you care about the working class when you're willing to go work for an MLM scammer. I mean, think about that, guys. We didn't talk about that a ton, but Anna does want to like reclaim her I care about working class American kind of a vibe. What did Patrick Bet David do to make his money so that he could get into this? He scammed people, guys. People who were desperate for money. Do you know who signs up for an MLM marketing scheme? It ain't people who have other fucking options. Okay, it's people who are up against a wall. They can't pay their rent. They're desperate. They're one step from going to a payday fucking loan. Maybe they already have and they have to try and pay that off. Maybe they're desperately trying to stave off eviction. That's who he was like, I can make a quick buck off of you. Like, that's genuinely what he thought. He was like, let me take people who are extremely desperate and convince them to work for me for free. It is extremely low predatory behavior. And she took a job from that guy and she let him pick everything. And no, she didn't get to book the guests. And no, she didn't get to pick her co-host. And no, she had no fucking input until it was time to fucking watch, right? And as Gavin pointed out, this isn't a real stand from her. This is her reading the tea leaves. The writing was on the wall. It was not going to work out for her. She knew it wasn't going to get picked up again. It probably only had a few more episodes left in their contract, right? They probably had an initial run worked out and there was going to be a renegotiation process and that was going to fall apart because Anna was making way more than she was worth. But I have one question for you, Gavin, because it does seem odd that she tried to quit mid-episode, just like her former co-host, Jillian Michaels. And then Jillian Michaels did get a decent amount of attention and exposure off the back of that. Do you think Anna was shooting for something like that and it just didn't happen? Or do you think it was just a coincidence and she really was fed up? Because I could imagine her being like, oh, let me at least try and get some attention on my way out. I'll quit midstream like Jillian did, but of course it just doesn't have the impact when you're turning off your webcam that walking out of a studio does.
Well, let's take a look at the stream in which she quit, Zach, because we can find out exactly the way in which she decided to exit, which is pretty interesting. I'm interested to get your opinion and chat's opinion as well as to whether or not this was premeditated or whether this was something where she just literally did get super fed up and was like, fuck it. But let's take a look here and then we'll take a look at her leaving and have that conversation.
Even made an argument. No, you haven't.
I've asked you
vague
over
general
again,
statements that aren't
that you
true.
can go sit down and have a diplomatic conversation or agreement with the Iranian regime?
Let me say it calmly.
Yes or
Let me
no?
say it calmly for you. Let me say it calmly for you. People like you and Dinesh have blood on your hands. You're evil people who support evil actions that get our soldiers killed. I couldn't think less of you.
No.
You are the bottom of the barrel in my eyes. Okay.
All right. Hold on, I gotta jump in here. Dinesh, hold on a second.
Which again, you have to give Anna props. That was sort of badass. Obviously, she finds herself just surrounded by total evil, ghoulish grifters on all sides here. And she's just like, I've had enough. So I think it's really, and we'll take a look at another moment here in a second. But this is what precipitated her exit. This is basically her last words ever on her take. Like, you all are fucking evil. You should be ashamed. The blood is on your hands, which is all 100% true. But again, it's always been true. She's been surrounded by evil, pro-Republican grifters since day one of this show. She's only finally gotten sick of it, seemingly for two reasons, in my opinion. One is the waning view count and the reality that Zac mentioned, which is that the show is probably not going to get renewed. I think it was going to get scrapped no matter how Ana felt, no matter how much she liked it or loved it or hated it or whatever. I think the show was going the way of the dodo very soon because of the fact that no one was watching it. Quite that simple. But I also do think that there is a chance that, Ana, she got super triggered by the left. She couldn't stand getting called out by Emma Vigeland and Sam Cedar. Seemingly that specifically really just pissed her the fuck off so much. She's like, fine, I'll go play with these kids. I'll go hang out with the right wingers, whatever, And now I think she does, in addition to feeling the pain of the irrelevance and the waning view count and the embarrassment of it all, I think she really is genuinely repulsed. Now that we're going to war with Iran, and she's like, holy fuck, I have to spend this Zoom call time every week hanging out with these people that are genuinely defending this. I'm genuinely shocked by just how depraved they are and by just what lengths they'll go to justify this obvious horror. And again, as much as I criticize Anne, I do think at her core, she does care about this issue. I don't think she's totally just full of shit, despite our criticisms of her messaging on it, And I think she does genuinely find herself a little bit repulsed by the likes of Dinesh D'Souza and just this whole crowd she's found herself in. I think, again, she's looking to her right, she's looking to her left. There's nothing but fucking demons and ghouls. And she's like, yeah, fuck this. I can't stand it. And again, there's no reason to stay either because the view count's in the trash. There's clearly no money in this gig either. So I think it's a mix of those two things. But that was her final word. That was the last you'll hear from Ana Kasparian. Zac, what do you say about that? And then we'll take a look at the official exit.
Yeah. It's interesting, right? Because of course I agree with everything that she said. She's spot on, right? She hit the nail on the head. And to me, again, we might be being a tad hyperbolic, right? But let's use a hyperbolic example. Everybody can deal with it. It really kind of reminds me of the third act of the movie American History X. You've got Edward Norton's character, and he's come back to his community in Los Angeles full of fucking skinheads, and he's got a fresh set of eyes on him, and he's like, what the fuck are these people? These low-life fucking scumbags, these worthless pieces of shit. All they have is hate in their heart. And what was I doing with these people? These fucking ignorant, classless, fucking no-good, worthless pieces of shit, right? Ethan Suplee, whatever the name of the old bastard that runs that whole gang. His brother's all brainwashed and fucking murderous now, too, just like he was. And he's looking around, and he's like, what the fuck happened to me? What the fuck happened? I was so angry about one specific thing. I was so angry about, what happened to my father. I was so angry about what happened to X, Y, and Z that I just got taken over by this blind rage, this hatred, and it dictated my whole world. And then, it starts to, he starts to wake up to that. And you start to realize, oh my God, no, I actually just joined the bottom of the barrel. I am a floating piece of shit, just like the rest of the sewage. Okay. And that's when you start to do some real self-reflection, right? Like Ana never became a skinhead. She never went and was like, I'm going to fucking get a swastika tattooed on me. This is extremely hyperbolic in the film American History X. Ed Norton does all that shit. But you could see the point of like, oh my gosh, I was super enraged. I went and joined a bunch of odious people who were trying to take advantage of my disillusionment and my rage and target it towards something pernicious and nefarious. I think that's kind of what Ana experienced by joining the right.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think that's pretty accurate. And again, it's not like she's, there's still going to be lots to criticize. She's still out here pandering to Tucker Carlson and kissing up to Tucker Carlson and talking about how dope he is and all this kind of shit. So it's not like it's totally over. I don't think she's just like 100% turned it around or anything. But I do think this is a real first step where she's like, all right, I got to get the fuck out of this swamp. And seemingly she has, Zac, because after she said her piece there, mysteriously, herself. Mysteriously, this is at 51 minutes around that she made that comment. Keep going. The conversation continues. Dinesh D'Souza weighs in. There's all of these idiot people talking. At a certain point here, you'll notice that Ana just doesn't come back. So around 53 minutes, as soon as I guess this lady starts talking, after she's done, Anna's gone. So pretty interestingly, Anna did not quite take the same approach that Jillian took, which was to be like, I'm fucking done. I'm storming out. She was just like, no, fuck you. You're evil. You got blood in your hands. Peace the fuck out. I'm going to just disappear into the night. I'm just going to hang up on the Zoom call while this Bianca or whatever the hell is talking, which is pretty funny. She's kind of slipped out the door, you know? And I think she probably didn't want to come off like Jillian Michael. She probably didn't want to come off like she was storming out of a debate. You know, like, oh, I don't even want to have this conversation. You guys, you know, I don't think she wanted to seem like she was rage quitting. I think she was just like genuinely at the end of her rope. Like, I'm done. I'm sick of this. I'm fucking bored of these people. I don't want to do this. I don't want to listen to it. I don't want to have to respond, whatever. And even if I do respond, no one's going to watch. Because that's the thing. Even though we gave Anna credit for that little clapback, this still didn't get a lot of views. It didn't even get 10,000 views. The clips didn't get a lot of views. No one gives a fuck. So again, even if she does expend all this energy huffing and puffing and being righteous, no one's really going to care. No one's really going to care, specifically not if she actually quits, because then the Her Take show is really done, which it probably is. It hasn't been officially announced yet, and they posted clips from this episode on their channel with Anna in them. So it's pretty funny. It still seems to be relatively unresolved. You know, there's not been a post made on the channel. I'm not sure exactly what the status of Her Take is going to be, but I really struggle to see Patrick Bet-David looking at the pieces and saying, all right, all we have left is Lindy Lee. Let's try to start this from scratch again. Nah, this show is toast. It's not coming back, in my opinion. If it were to come back, it would literally just have to be Lindy Lee's show, which no one wants to watch. Yeah, I don't think enough people care about fucking Lindy Lee. In fact, I think her presence on Her Take prevented people from watching Her Take. I think that was one of the reasons why the show never took off, because no one fucking likes Lindy Lee. She's one of the most annoying, one of the least principled people in all of media. And unless it's just like a 2-minute cable news hit, like that's the most people can stomach of her. So either way, I think the show is totally toast. But it is pretty funny that it ended with such a whimper, such a whimper, even on Anna's part. Like, she said her piece, but then just kind of excused herself out the door. And she was like, fuck you, I'm out.
Yeah, honestly, it gets the ending it deserves. Nobody gives a shit, right? If a tree falls down in the forest and nobody's around to hear it, did it even make a sound? That's kind of how I feel about the Her Take show collapsing and falling apart. It's just one by one, the roots gave way, and now it's over, and nobody will give a shit, right? They had 75,000 subscribers. The show is a year old, and they're already completely dead. They're dormant subscribers. Nobody watches it. And I think you're really hitting the nail on the head when you say Lindy Lee was the biggest fucking problem on the show, because she has no authentic ideology. She has no POV, and she has no base. So it's like, why are you here? And she's such a climber. She's such a fucking, oh my God, I'll work hard. I want to be in front of the camera. I want people to care about me. She'll never get an audience because people hate that shit.
Yep, 100%. And it seems like even though she has this new righteous Tucker Carlson-esque fury related to foreign policy and Israel and all that stuff, it seems like the people on Her Take don't even really agree with that or fuck with it. Like some of the comments here at the end, you can see Lindy is embarrassed by Anna and her breakdown. Some of the comments, it doesn't even seem like people are cheering her on. She's not even getting that positive affirmation from the comment section, like you would expect after she's, again, shutting down Dinesh D'Souza and all this kind of stuff. But a lot of people are just like, why are you interrupting and insulting? And I think a large part of the reason why that is because Her Take is not a show on the Tucker Carlson network. It's a show on the PBD network. And PBD has not been anti-war. He hasn't been fucking anti-Israel or even really anti-Zionist. He did a funny interview with fucking Benjamin Netanyahu. Like, he's been defending the Iran war. He was super excited when we attacked it. Yeah, he was cheerleading it. So I think the PBD audience is more neocon coded. They are more pro-war, pro-Israel coded. And they don't really want to hear Anna do this kind of shit. So maybe there'd be more of a lane for Anna to give her commentary on like the Tucker Carlson network or something. But the PBD network just isn't as populist right as I guess she thought it was when she signed up for this, which makes it all the more funny. Either way, RIP Her Take, at least Her Take featuring Ana Kasparian. We've been covering the show since its very beginning, guys. Back, it seems like over a year ago, but it was only 8 months ago, I guess, is when the first episode dropped. I remember the day.
I guess 9 months ago. That's weird. It says stream 9 months ago over there.
Oh, yeah. Either way, 8-9 months ago. It seems like, I remember covering that. I remember the day it happened, but here we are at the end of the road, and we can officially say RIP to her take, unless Anna has a miraculous change of heart behind the scenes and is like, I actually do want to keep doing this for no reason, but I highly doubt it.
Yeah, that would be even more humiliating. That would be super pathetic. Just, oh, you don't have any conviction at all. And it is crazy. Those first couple of streams were getting like 100,000 views. That means people saw it. We're like, this is a dog shit show. I'm not watching it again, which is the worst place you want to be. And that's why I know for sure it's going to get canceled. I completely agree with you, Gavin. Around 1 year mark, they would have had to be like, oh, let's renegotiate. And it would have been over by then. I think Anna just decided the checks weren't worth it.
Look out the door if you hear an ambulance. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there. Be there.